Hey guys, for you guys who are following along on the 51 Plymouth 318 swap, I thought I'd make just a quick video for this weekend's project. Didn't get a lot done this weekend, had some other things going on, but I did want to show you what we're working on right now. We are working on the gauge cluster. I went ahead and ordered a gauge. I bought it off of eBay. I don't think last year they had this when I was looking around, but basically came from a company called, I don't know how you pronounce it, Boise maybe, or Boese. Like I said, it was on eBay. It came with the gauges and everything. The autometer gauges, I think I got the vintage white face gauges. It's basically a cutout built CNC, probably aluminum face. The gauges go on really easily. It's going to take the place of the old one, which I was really torn not using this, but I figured since I was rewiring everything, I figured I'd just go ahead and modernize the gauge cluster while I was at it. But maybe I'll put that back in someday. But working on that, and what I did is I modified the gauge cluster housing a little bit since I wasn't going to be using all those switches and everything. Basically had just had to widen the hole just a little bit with a die grinder to put the new key switch in, which I came from Speedway, and left a hole for the light switch. And basically on the back there's all these, if you've messed with these at all, there's these large, I guess this is pop metal, I'm not totally sure what this is made out of, but there was large mounting lands on the back that I ground off. And then I just put some, just covered the holes on the back with some fiberglass mesh, and then some fiberglass Bondo on the front. Right now it's kind of wet still, so I don't want to mess with that. But anyway, that should look pretty good. I just painted it gray to match the engine. I'm going to be painting the dashboard too. Right now it's the wood, which, I mean, again, the purist would say it's blasphemy getting rid of that, but it's really faded and worn. But I think I'm just going to paint that to match the engine, bring the gray into the passenger compartment. Got the kill mat down. I think it's going to help a little bit for sure. Getting closer on that. Still looking for a rear end. I have a rear end out of a 67 Mustang Torino Comet, I think is what they come out of. It's almost the exact width as the one that's currently in the 51 Plymouth. I am going to have to, I'm going to try to take the spring perches off of the Plymouth. I'm going to try to get those off and weld those on here. Because it has the shock mount on the spring perch, it's a different type of system where this, and I want to kind of preserve that so I don't have to modify the shocks in the back. It's got some newer air shocks. They're probably 15-20 years old, but they're still working. So but this one needs rebuild. It's a posi 3-to-1, but it's a little loose. I'm not sure, I don't know a lot about the rear ends. I haven't messed with these in a long time, but one of the sides here has about, as you can see, a couple of inches of play before it catches anything, so I don't think that's right. So, and the guy I bought it from said it was slipping a little bit, so no big deal. Might rebuild this one, or just might find something else, but that's a little ways down the road. Still got wiring to do, got that all taken care of. Got the painless system there, got a lot of parts getting ready to put on. This car does have a Scarebird disc brake conversion in the front. It was really easy to do. It came with a hub, and it uses probe. I think it was probe discs and Chevy S10 calipers, and it had a couple different hose links. Get the shorter hose links because the longer one did not work. So don't bother getting the longer one if you have one of these. You just be wasting your money on that. So that's that right now. I'm contemplating on what to do with the gas filler cap. I don't know if I want to preserve this one or maybe put something, you know, 60s hot rodish or 50s hot rodish on there, maybe a one with a door on it or something. I'd really like to, since I have to do a little work to the fender anyway. It had some paint leak, some gas leak at one time and messed up the paint. So I have to do that anyway. I'd really like to do a maybe like a 54 GM door. You know, that would be cool, I think, because it would keep it in the era still. But I don't know. We're thinking on that a little bit. One thing I would like to talk about just a little bit, maybe I'm kind of concerned, is when I didn't really rebuild this engine because it only had supposedly 80,000 miles. It didn't smoke or anything or make any noise. But I did, since we did switch it over to a 4-barrel, I did put a like an RV type cam in it, lifters, and got the Edelbrock intake manifold and 600 CFM carburetor. Really, you need to change the cam. If you guys don't know, you need to change the cam if you're going from like a 2-barrel to a 4-barrel. Otherwise, you're just not really doing anything, because you're not getting any more air through the engine because of the valve lift and all that and timing. So yeah, everybody says it's pretty tight, and yeah, it's pretty tight. I should have did what Phil from New Zealand did and found a smaller or shorter radiator and modified the core support maybe and pushed the radiator forward, but still needed room for the fan. But anyway, he made his work. But hopefully this will work. It's a pusher fan. It's a pretty large pusher fan, and I did some modification to the front hood mount there. But what I was going to say is, so it's got a cam in it, it's got lifters, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Uncle Tony's Garage, UTG, is on YouTube and Facebook. He has several videos on the quality of new parts, really just wearing out. Like, he has his theories, and my theory is, since all these parts are getting made in places like China, I guess, hate to talk about it like this, but you know, I think a lot of the Chinese stuff, as long as it looks correct, it's correct. You know, they're not as in tune with the metallurgy, I think. So I think it's probably a big problem is the metallurgy, not hardening the cam properly or whatever it is. But they've had a lot of cam failures, a lot of lifter failures. He was talking about recently his timing chain gear was cracked, a brand new timing chain gear. So to me, that would be a problem with the metal, expanding, contracting, just not being, I don't know, tempered, hardened properly, whatever, not the correct combination. But not only is it on the steel parts, but it's a lot of the electronic parts too. Now I've changed over to an HEI system, but he was having problems with points wearing out quickly, or you know, just cheap parts. You know, cheap parts are that, they're just cheap parts. I don't know what we're gonna do, if it's gonna get better, or maybe people need to start making things here in America again. I don't know. I don't know. Something has to be done though, or this hobby is just gonna go away, or I guess maybe some specialty shops will start making things, hopefully, that they're making right now. So I don't know. Put your comments in the comment section if you want, and let's talk about it if you want. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube if you can. And any questions, just let me know. But this is a 318 swap. It's got a 904 right now, since it's really not like I wouldn't call it a hot rod or anything. It's just a mild cam inside here, but not really wanting to drag race or anything in it, so that'll probably be okay. But if it goes bad, then maybe we'll do an overdrive transmission. But this is a 1951 Plymouth Business Coupe. It's a Concorde. It was not, I don't feel too terrible because it was not all original. The paint, this has been in the family for probably 25 years. The first thing, it sat outside for probably 20 years before we had it. So it had a little rust in the fenders, not bad at all, but the doors were warped, the trunk, the hood was all warped. The guy did a really good job when he painted. It's a base coat, clear coat paint, it's they match the original color as close as possible, and it's pretty much a match. Um, so very close to original. I'm going to try to keep it probably very stock looking on the outside. Don't want to do any shaving of the handles or anything like that, or the trim. Like I said, I put a Scarebird disc brake system on the front, and I was kind of concerned because it was using, you know, S10 calipers and probe discs, but then I kind of looked at the weight of the cars, and they're all like within like 100 and 200 pounds of each other. This car, the S10, and the probe. And then I started thinking about this engine and transmission combination that I have in here is actually 100 pounds less than the original engine and transmission. Plus, I do have an aluminum intake manifold, so I don't know, that probably shaved a little bit more off of that. So that's just a couple things. My father had redone the interior, and it was the original mohair at one time, but the bench seat is in really good shape. It's redone in a tweed type material, but it's an old seat, and it's really springy. I took the engine and transmission out of 83 Chrysler New Yorker, and I think I'm going to put its seats in here. They fit in there just perfectly. They fit in no problem, and plus they're extremely comfortable, and the driver's seat is power, so hopefully that'll work out. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.